Alright, this is exciting. I'm going to use the tram in Istanbul today. It looks like a pretty good system actually. It's quite an extensive line and it's easy to sort out really if you have a map, which I do. Provided by the, I'm not sure I'd say that, Cembelitas Turkish baths. Could be worth a visit. Yeah, I've got the tube network on here. I've got a map of the main downtown areas, the old town, and this district that I've been staying in the last couple of days, Beyoğlu. And if you see, you probably can't see, but this tram line passes between the two, so that is perfect. The metro, I think, seems to be more or less concentrated on one side or the other. If you want to cross the river, you need the tram. But you know, it's really straightforward because everything's in the Roman script here. They got these funny accents over a lot of the letters. I'm not sure whether that constitutes a separate letter in the alphabet. It tends to do that in a lot of other languages. So you know, it's like, for example, they will have the O with the umlauts, and they will have an O without the umlauts, and that constitutes two different letters. Probably, I don't know for sure. I'm just speculating, as is my want. But yeah, seems quite straightforward. This is a standard price of 4 lira per journey. No complaints about that. And it's going to take me across the river into the old town where the truly historical parts of Turkey can be witnessed. Right, it's got nice big windows for sightseeing as well, which comes in handy when you've got views like this. Right, so that's about 2,000 years old, in pretty good nick, I'm sure you'll agree. The hieroglyphs are extremely well preserved. They're incredibly clear. You know, I can't say that I could work out what they mean, but the depictions, you know, the depictions are quite clear. I can see a little bird there, I can see an eye, you know, I can see some kind of flying insect. There's at least 2 things that look like big spunking cocks. So I don't know. I think stuff like that's funny, and maybe it spoils it for a lot of you. I'm sorry, I just can't help myself. But these faces down the bottom as well, they're not too bad, are they? Oh, a couple of them are missing noses. That presumably is granite, the main obelisk. Got some strange creatures on there. You know, it just really fascinates me what was going on in these days, you know, where it all came from and what it all means. You know, I mean, I jest a little bit with the reptilian references because, you know, there's very little evidence for that, I suppose, but evidence of some kind of extraterrestrial colonization, well, that is evident to me. If you want to read a good book on the subject, the first guy really to bring this kind of theory into the mainstream, well, not exactly mainstream, but into, you know, some kind of common knowledge, was a guy called Eric von Daniken, who wrote a book which was called Chariots of the Gods, and that explains this kind of theory quite well, and gives you the reasons why this theory is widely believed, and it is more widely believed than you would know if you only get your information from the mainstream. Who knows, man? We don't know what happened, and we don't know what didn't happen, and the history of the world is a mystery, and it is certainly, almost certainly, not as we believe it to be. Right, that's all I'm going to say about that. Let's carry on with a bit of modern day Istanbul tourism. Ta-da! Right, here we have very possibly Istanbul's main attraction, the Sultan Ahmet Mosque, known as the Blue Mosque. They call it the Blue Mosque because apparently a lot of the tiles inside are blue. So they name their mosques like they name their sandwiches. Quite an impressive structure. Not as big as I was expecting, actually. I had a feeling it was just going to be this humongous beast of a building. But I've seen bigger, I think. If you want to see a really, really beautiful mosque, go to Brunei. Yeah, Brunei. It's on the island of Kalimantan. There's 3 countries on the island of Borneo, whatever you want to call it. It's got Malaysian Borneo there. It's got Kalimantan, which is part of Indonesia, and it's got Brunei, which is a small principality and an independent state. And the mosque in Brunei, the main one, is just amazing.
Be a nice little pad though, this, wouldn't it? Imagine living in there. And get yourself a few wives. You'd be fucking happy as Larry, wouldn't you?
I mean, this one's great, but I've seen better. That's all I'm saying. Let's have a look inside. Oh, nice. Right, I believe this one is quite unique because it's got more of these minarets than any other. It's got 7 or something, I think. You see sometimes they've got 1, sometimes they've got 2 or 3. This one apparently has got 7, if I'm correct. I'm probably not correct, but oh look, this will give us a representation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 there. Right, this is the entrance just for prayer here. So if you're just a visitor like myself, if you're just a bystander, you want to come around the other side. It is important to remember to be respectful and all that. You can see all the ladies are wearing the old jilbabs or hijabs, as whatever nomenclature you prefer. Lads, long trouser sleeves. Are they called sleeves? You know what I mean? Please, no shorts. And that's they're the main ones, I think. Don't forget the shoes off. Right, that seems like a good idea. I'll tell you what else you can do to understand Islam. Just talk to some Muslim people, friends, neighbours, colleagues. I'll tell you what not to do to understand Islam. Read fucking Facebook memes by Britain First and the EDL.